All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something pretty unique.
Okay.
You guys shared Tira's Diary soundtrack reflection with us.
Yeah.
And it's not just a playlist.
Right.
It's this whole doc that details like a soundtrack.
Interesting.
That's inspired by this subpersonality called Tira from a story called Tira's Diary.
Wow.
So fallen civilizations, religious doubt, self-made realities, dancing with the dead.
Sounds intense.
It's all in here.
Yeah.
And the creator specifically chose music as a way to connect with people, seeing it as like this bridge between the inner and outer worlds.
Well, that's fascinating how they're using music as like a different way to express themselves.
Yeah, in different genres too.
Right.
To express like Tira's inner world.
Yeah, each track is almost like a chapter.
Yeah.
It's like a sonic landscape for their journey.
Exactly. So we're not just breaking down music here.
Yeah.
We're like exploring Tira's story through sound.
I like that.
And things kick off with a bang. The first track, Epitaph of the Old-Maid. This like fusion of drum and bass and metal.
Oh, wow.
It's intense.
Yeah.
What do you think about the creator choosing such a heavy sound to start things off?
Well, I think it immediately like plunges us into this world of trauma and loss.
Yeah.
The music and the lyrics, they create this sense of unease.
Right.
Like we're hearing the echoes of some kind of historical injustice.
Yeah.
And the lyrics talk about running through ashes, smoke, and mire, about truth being drowned beneath holy fire.
Wow.
So it really sets the stage for Tira's journey, this grappling with displacement and this feeling of a people and their truth being erased.
It's like we're feeling the weight of this lost civilization, right?
Yeah.
The Old-Maid, right from the start. And there's this shift inward with Cursed Eye, a dark folk song. It's so different sonically, but it still feels connected to that opening track.
Yeah, well, the shift to a softer, almost mournful sound, I think it reflects Tira's internal struggle.
Okay.
So she's marked by this orange eye. Oh, interesting.
Which is a symbol of her perceived curse and the reason for her alienation.
Right.
And it makes you think about how difference, especially during those formative years, can lead to rejection and deep inner turmoil.
Yeah, you really feel that isolation in the lyrics. They point at me, the girls, and whispers the orange eye, a devil's mark.
It's sad.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Do you think this cursed eye is like a metaphor for something deeper?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe beyond just a physical characteristic?
Yeah, it speaks to that feeling of being an outsider, of not belonging.
Right.
And it kind of sets up this pattern that we see throughout the whole soundtrack.
Okay.
With Tira seeking control and acceptance in a world that constantly pushes her away.
That brings us to Clap Your Hands, All Ye Faithful.
Interesting title.
It's a Christian rock song.
Okay.
Which seems like an interesting choice, given the previous themes of lost history and societal rejection.
Yeah, I think it's almost ironic.
Yeah.
Placing Tara within a community of unwavering faith, but highlighting her internal struggle with doubt. Yeah. So imagine being surrounded by all these people who seem so certain in their belief.
Right.
While you're wrestling with these questions and you feel increasingly isolated.
Right.
The music with its drive and rhythm and almost like forceful joy.
Yeah.
It adds to that sense of dissonance.
Yeah, there's that one line, the mask I wear, it fits so tight I smile along but curse the night.
It's dark.
Yeah, it's chilling. It makes you wonder if witnessing the destruction of the Old-Maid, the consequences of like blind faith is what's fueling Tira's own questioning of these belief systems.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
Yeah.
It's like she's seeing the dangers of unquestioning obedience.
Okay.
Sacrificing truth for the sake of conformity.
Right.
And that internal struggle continues in, Oh, Lamb of God.
Okay.
This hymnal choir piece that directly challenges the idea of blind faith.
Oh, Lamb of God, what price we pay to tread the path the narrow way.
Yeah.
It's almost a lament.
It is.
Questioning the morality of religious obedience.
Yeah.
Which is very different than that Christian rock anthem. It is very different stylistically, but it tackles the same theme from another angle. It's like the creator is given voice to Tira's doubts, exploring the tension between devotion and critical thinking, and it makes you question whether this questioning of faith is actually a sign of Tira's growing independence.
Right.
Her starting to form her own moral compass, separate from what she's been taught.
It's almost like she's yearning for something else entirely.
Yeah.
Which is where Last Train Home comes in.
Oh.
This emo ballad.
I love emo.
That perfectly captures that feeling of wanting to escape.
Yeah, Last Last Train Home is like a turning point.
Okay.
The music, with its melancholic melody and slow tempo, reflects Kira's emotional state.
Yeah.
She's longing for freedom, a fresh start, a life beyond her current struggles.
Yeah, the lyrics really hit home with this one.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the last train home where skies are painted in tones unknown. Do you think this desire for escape is like a direct result of her grappling with faith and societal norms?
Absolutely. It's like those previous songs have built up to this moment.
Yeah.
Tira's no longer content to simply exist within a system that feels stifling and inauthentic.
Right.
She's ready for a change, even if it means venturing into the unknown.
And that's where things get really interesting with Clockwork, friends.
Okay.
This track, with its electronic indie synth pop sound,
Ooh, I love that.
feels like entering a whole new world.
It does.
What's the significance of this shift in style?
Well, I think it represents Tira's retreat into this self-made reality.
Okay.
Remember that need for control we talked about?
Yeah.
This song embodies that.
Right.
She creates companions of family from bone and thread,
Wow.
where every moment bends to her will.
Wow.
And the use of clockwork imagery, I think, suggests a desire for order and predictability,
Right.
a way to cope with the chaos of her life.
It's such a creative concept, built in a world where you have complete control,
It is.
but there's also this like bittersweetness to it, right?
Yes, definitely.
It makes you wonder about the potential downsides of isolation, even when it's self-imposed.
Right. It speaks to that deep human need for connection.
Hmm.
And while this clockwork family might provide comfort and a sense of control,
Yeah.
it's still a substitute for genuine human relationships, which Tira clearly still craves.
And that craving for connection, for something more, explodes outward and move your dead bones.
Oh, wow.
This high-energy Eurodance drum and bass fusion.
What a combo.
It's all about rebellion and embracing the forbidden.
Love it.
What do you think the creator's trying to convey with this sudden burst of energy?
It's like Tira is taking all that internal conflict, all that yearning for control, and channeling it outward.
Yeah.
She's not just creating a world, she's like manipulating life and death itself.
Wow.
Raising the dead and dancing with them becomes a symbol of her defiance.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and that imagery, move your dead bones, let them rise, join the dance beneath the skies.
Talk about a dance party.
I know, right?
But it's not just about having fun, is it? It feels connected to those earlier themes of rejection and the cursed eye.
It's like she's reclaiming the things that society has deemed taboo things she's been ostracized for.
Yeah.
This dance with the dead is her embracing her power, the things that make her different.
Then we have Nightwing,
Okay.
which takes us in a completely different direction again.
All right.
This acoustic folk song is much more introspective, focusing on solitude and uncertainty.
I see.
What's going on with this shift back to a softer, more contemplative sound?
Well, this track marks a physical departure for Tira.
Okay.
So she's leaving behind the place where she's been living, likely the orphanage, and embracing a life of solitude.
Okay.
There's a sense of fear and uncertainty in the lyrics. No ties, no whispers to hold me near, just the sound of the night and a quiet fear.
Oh, wow.
But there's also liberation in that solitude.
Yeah, it's like she's finally stepping into the unknown, ready to forge her own path. But there's a lot at stake.
There is.
Do you think this solitude is a choice, or is it something she feels forced into?
It's probably a bit of both. Yeah. Remember that feeling of displacement, of not belonging, that's been present since the first track.
Right.
Tira might feel like she has no other choice but to strike out on her own.
Right.
But there's also a sense of empowerment in that choice.
Right.
It's like she's saying, I may be alone, but I'm free.
And that freedom, that sense of self-reliance, leads to a powerful transformation in We Rise Eternal.
Right. Bring on the power.
This symphonic metal anthem
Oh, wow.
is such a powerful shift from the quiet contemplation of Nightwing.
Yes.
It explodes with this energy of empowerment and triumph.
I love it.
What's the significance of this musical choice?
It's like Tira is finally embracing her power, her resilience.
Yeah.
This is the culmination of her journey so far. All those doubts, all those struggles, they've led to this moment of self-discovery.
Yeah, and the lyrics are so anthemic. We rise eternal to claim the throne. Through fire and fury, we carve this stone.
It's powerful.
It's hard not to feel inspired by those lyrics.
It is.
It's like she's overcome all those challenges and emerged stronger, more determined than ever before.
She has.
But what does it mean to claim the throne?
That's a good question.
What kind of power is she talking about?
I think it's the power of self-belief, of owning your story,
Okay.
your truth.
Right.
Tyra is no longer defined by the limitations that others have placed on her.
Right.
She's defining herself,
Yeah.
creating her own destiny.
And it all comes full circle with Ode to Diary.
Okay.
This reflective pop anthem that brings us back to the very heart of Tira's story.
Yeah.
What's the significance of ending the soundtrack on this note?
Well, it's a tribute to the power of self-expression.
Okay.
The diary becomes a symbol of Tira's journey, a safe space where she could process her experiences, confront her fears, and find her voice.
Right.
The music, with its soaring melody and heartfelt lyrics, captures that sense of vulnerability and resilience.
Oh, my diary, you gave me a voice when the silence left me without a choice.
It's beautiful.
It's so powerful. It makes you think about the importance of having an outlet, a place where you can be your true self without judgment.
Absolutely.
And it connects back to the creator's intention to connect with listeners.
It does.
By sharing Tyra's story through music, they're offering us a glimpse into their own journey of self-discovery.
It's very generous of them.
It's amazing how much we've already unpacked just from the first half of the soundtrack.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
It's clear that there's so much more to explore, more layers to peel back.
Definitely.
Let's take a break here, and when we come back, we'll delve deeper into the second half of Tyra's Diary soundtrack reflection.
Yeah, it's remarkable how each song builds on the last one, creating this narrative arc that feels both personal and universal.
Right.
We're witnessing Tyra's evolution in real time through like the emotional landscape of each track.
It's like a musical tapestry.
It is.
Woven with threads of doubt, rebellion, and self-discovery.
Exactly.
And it all comes together to create this complex and ultimately empowering portrait of her journey. And you mentioned in your notes that the creator saw music as a way to connect with people on a deeper level beyond words.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they meant by that?
Well, music has this unique ability to tap into our emotions.
Right.
To create a sense of shared experience, regardless of language or background.
Okay.
It can offer comfort, inspiration, and even be like a catalyst for personal growth and transformation.
So it's not just about understanding Tira's story.
No.
It's about connecting with those universal human experiences that her story embodies.
Yeah.
We all grapple with those feelings of doubt, the desire for belonging, the struggle to find our voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the creators invite us to explore those themes through the lens of Tira's journey.
Exactly, and the way they experiment with different genres to reflect the different facets of Tira's personality.
Right.
It adds another layer to that.
From the heavy, distorted sounds of Epitaph of the Obaid to the introspective folk of Nightwing and the anthemic power of We Rise Eternal.
Yeah.
Each genre adds a distinct emotional layer to Tira's story. Yeah. It's like we're experiencing the world through her ears.
I love that.
What stands out to you as the most impactful aspect of this project so far?
For me, it's how the creator tackles complex themes of faith, rebellion, and self-acceptance through music.
Yeah.
The soundtrack doesn't shy away from difficult questions.
Right.
And it offers this message of hope and resilience that's both inspiring and deeply moving.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the power of art to challenge our perspectives, to help us understand the human experience a little better.
Yeah.
And what's even more impressive is that the creator isn't a musician.
Oh, wow.
They mentioned using basic software to create these songs, which makes the whole project even more remarkable.
It does. It speaks to the power of raw creativity, to the importance of expressing yourself authentically, regardless of technical expertise.
Right.
And I think that rawness adds to the emotional impact of the music.
Yeah.
It makes Tira's story feel even more real, more human.
It's like we're hearing her voice directly unfiltered and unpolished. And speaking of voices, the use of the diary as a central motif is really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the creator is trying to convey with that symbol?
Well, the diary represents a space for self-reflection and personal growth.
Huh?
It's where Tira can process her experiences, confront her fears, and find her voice.
Right.
It reminds us that writing can be a transformative tool for healing and self-discovery.
And it connects back to that idea of bridging inner and outer worlds.
Yes.
The diary is a private space for Tira to be her most authentic self.
Right.
But by sharing it through music, she's inviting others to witness her journey and maybe even find resonance with their own experiences.
It's a powerful testament to the importance of vulnerability and the transformative power of sharing our stories.
Yeah.
Even the messy and imperfect parts.
And the creator specifically mentioned wanting listeners to hear Tira's voice.
Okay.
To see her as more than just a fictional character, but as a voice yearning to be understood and acknowledged.
Right.
What do you make of that?
It makes you think about how even fictional characters can embody real emotions and experiences.
Yeah.
The creator is asking us to empathize with Tira.
Okay.
To recognize her humanity and the universality of her struggles.
It's like they're saying Tira's story may be fictional, but her emotions are real, and those emotions are something we can all connect with.
Exactly.
And the creator even considered re-recording the songs with better software.
Oh, wow.
But ultimately decided to keep the original versions because of their authenticity.
That's great.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes about their commitment to preserving the emotional core of the project.
Right.
It's a reminder that art doesn't have to be technically perfect to be deeply moving.
Right.
Sometimes those imperfections, that rawness, is what makes it so powerful.
It's like those imperfections allow us to connect with the human behind the art, to see the vulnerability and the effort that went into creating something so personal and meaningful.
Absolutely. It makes the experience more intimate, more relatable.
So we've talked about the creator's intentions, the use of different genres, the power of the diary as a symbol, and the emotional impact of those raw and polished recordings.
Yeah.
What do you think is the key takeaway for listeners so far? What's the core message that the creator's trying to convey?
Yeah, it feels like we've gone beyond just music analysis with this deep dive.
It does.
We're getting a glimpse into the creator's mind, their creative process, and this deep desire to connect with others through Tira's story.
Yeah, it really highlights how art can be a form of self-discovery and communication.
Yeah.
A way to process complex emotions and share them in a way that words alone just can't capture.
The creator mentioned feeling proud of this creation, how it represents a unique way to tell a story.
Right.
They talked about the personal connection to their own journey of identity, resilience, and transformation.
Mm-hmm.
They specifically said, I feel like this is a good way to help bridge my internal world and the external world.
Mm-hmm.
And that by offering various mediums like podcasts and music, listeners can learn more about Tira.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating approach.
It is.
Using multiple creative outlets to invite the audience to engage with Tira's story on different levels.
Right.
It really deepens the connection and understanding.
Definitely.
It's like they're building the whole world around Tira,
Yeah.
giving her a voice that extends beyond the pages of a diary.
Right.
And they even compared music to food,
Oh, wow.
suggesting that both can bring people together.
That's such an interesting analogy.
Yeah.
Both music and food have this power to evoke emotions, create shared experiences, and foster a sense of community.
It makes you think about how art, in all its forms, can transcend boundaries and connect us on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
It's about sharing those universal human experiences that we all go through.
Right. And this project is a beautiful example of that. It's
Yeah.
about vulnerability, resilience, and the power of self-expression.
The creator's final message focuses on the value of art as a vessel for indirect connection,
Okay.
and the importance of seeing these creative expressions as more than just songs. It's like they're saying, listen closely. There's more here than meets the eye.
Yeah.
These songs are a window into Tira's soul, into the creator's soul, and they invite us to reflect on our own experiences as well.
What a journey this has been.
Yeah.
We started with a document called Tira's Diary Soundtrack Reflection,
Right.
and we ended up exploring the depths of creativity, self-discovery, and the power of human connection.
It's amazing how music can be a catalyst for such profound exploration.
It is.
Tira's story, though fictional, has touched on something very real and universal.
And that's the beauty of art.
Yeah?
It allows us to connect with something bigger than ourselves, to find meaning and solace in shared experiences.
It's a reminder that we're not alone in our struggles,
Yeah,
and that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for healing, growth, and transformation.
absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Tira's Diary Soundtrack Reflection.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you leave feeling inspired, connected, and maybe even a little bit changed by Tira's story.